Yeehaw!
The show season is in full swing, with Carmine showing at the High Roller Classic in Vegas and Bonnie at the Challenge in Burbank. Now, Matt looks to the Best of the West in Scottsdale, where the top four have to show Matt who leaves and who stays on the road to the Futurity.
The NRHA Futurity is considered the Super Bowl of reining. But once it ends, next year's competition begins. I've got 1 year to train and pick 3 horses.
Matt Mills has 1 year to pick 3 horses out of the top 5 contenders in his barn.
This is the road to the Futurity. It's been an action-packed last couple months with the Futurity horses. We're now less than 30 days away. Had a couple shows, Best of the West, Las Vegas, the High Roller, and then also the Challenge in Burbank. Had a couple castrations, one that health-wise we're gonna have to shut down. So been all kinds of stuff going on, which is normal for this time of year.
In September, Matt and Carmine showed at the High Roller Classic in Las Vegas. Scoring a 210, Carmine solidified Matt's belief in his talents. But he also showed Matt that being a stud may still be affecting his mind.
Carmine went to the High Roller Reining Classic for his debut there. The turnarounds were about as bad as it could get. He didn't start the spins well, didn't shut off well, and then he did everything else great, and he scored a 210. He circled nice and he stopped good. I wasn't that concerned about it because I know what that horse can do, but my caution flag kind of went up, and I'm thinking, that I've got an issue I've got to try to work out. So I really went after that, trying to improve that spot.
The next show was with Bonnie at the Best of the West in Scottsdale, Arizona.
So Bonnie's doing exactly what I thought she would. All year long, she's been just a little eccentric, is what I'd call her. Some days are really good, some days not. She's throwing some curveballs at me. Feels like she wants to buck me off. She kind of does this first 5 minutes or so. I'm not sure what she's thinking about. But one thing about her is she's trying hard all the time. We took her to the Best of the West. That was her first competition right here in Scottsdale, and she showed awesome. She didn't ride as good as I'd have liked all week long to make me feel warm and fuzzy, but she went out there and gave it her all. We had major spin penalties both directions, 1 point one way, a half the other, which I'll put that on myself. And then also coming out of a rollback, the weirdest thing, I just asked her to slow down, see if she was paying attention, and she slowed down all the way to the trot. So I lost 3.5 penalty points per judge. Still scored a 213.5, so she was gonna be up there, quite a bit. So took her back to the California Challenge, and I just wanted to go get a solid run on Bonnie. It's been hard to find any consistency with her. That's been the constant, has been that she is a little inconsistent. Took her out and she was great. She's the only one I showed of the Futurity horses. She scored a 73, 72.5 respectively. 0 penalties, which is what my goal was going in. And I think I learned a lot about her on how to prepare. She takes a lot of time. That's what it comes down to. Going forward now through the Futurity with her, I think it's just about making sure I stay focused myself and that I allow her that time to kind of be a little goofy, and then just make sure we just keep taking things slow, because she's already proven she wants to be a show horse, which that is the biggest and the hardest thing to get, is one that when you walk through that gate and it's just you and the judges, that they give you everything you've got. So far, she's even tried to give me stuff that she doesn't have. She's maybe the dark horse there. I mean, she's one, I think you look up 1 minute and you think she's not broke and she shouldn't even be considered going to the event, and then the next minute you look and you see her stop, and she's stopping better than any horse at the horse show. here at the Best of the West Futurity in Scottsdale. It's just about 20 minutes down the road from our home training facility, and I've got 4 of our Futurity horses down here: Carmine, Bonnie, Partner, and Curry. The first day of paid warm-ups, I took Carmine and Bonnie in, trying to prepare them for Saturday, which is our big Futurity. And Carmine was good. You know, he had a little trouble starting to spin, which is the same thing that I've been trying to work through since the high roller Futurity. He's wanting to suck back, is what he's doing, and then it cost me a bunch of points there. Everything else was rock solid, and that was about the same. I think things were a little better. I kind of started off, he wasn't quite where I wanted, and then just kind of kept asking him again and again and again, trying a different approach with him, and he ended up feeling really good as far as starting that spin, which that's the main thing that I'm trying to work on. The speed part he's got no problem with. It's just getting that spin started. Everywhere else out there he felt great. Circling was right there with me, and then just stopped him one time and he was right there, nailed it. Real happy with Carmine. Just feels like a little tweak in here and there. Health-wise, he feels really good. Bonnie was fun. That was the very first time she's gone in, you know, away from home in a show type environment. And matter of fact, first time in that arena, and she kind of was looking around a little, but not bad. Circling to the right, I thought she was right there with me. Not quite as focused as she can be, but what I liked though is that she's kind of looking around, but she didn't lose her mind. She was still, you know, still with me, still ready to go show if I need her to. Second day down here at Best of the West, I was planning on taking Curry and Partner in paid warm-ups just to kind of see where they're at. Raining by the bay, kind of, you know, that was not the way we wanted it to go. You know, they had some soundness issues with their front feet. Nothing major, but just little knick-knack stuff, and we've been working hard with the vet since then to try to get those things figured out.
Anytime Matt heads into an arena to warm up before a show, Matt's main concern is always health. But with Curry, Matt's job now is to figure out if he's struggling because of pain or if it's just in his mind.
And I could tell right when I loped off, his ears are perked up, which normally you'd say, oh, that's good, they're bright and alert, but I could tell he is not focused on me at all. Now, whether or not, you know, he's got a little pain, he's got a little bruise on an inside heel, is that causing him some issues that I'm not picking up? I mean, he's not, you know, definitely wasn't limping before I went in, or I wouldn't have taken him out there. But you never know if something's tweaking him or what.
Although Matt seems to be able to get some of the kinks out with Curry, he's still not performing up to his standards and still isn't feeling 100%. And so now it's Matt's decision whether or not he is capable of showing at the Best of the West.
Oh.
Matt brought both Partner and Curry to the Best of the West with the intention of showing. But now with Curry not feeling 100% and Partner showing slightly lame, it all comes down to one horse. Carmine.
Scored a 219 on him. That finished towards the top of the pack.
On their home turf, now it's time for Carmine to show Matt who he is and what he's made of.
To me, I didn't feel like we were getting his full potential. He still gave me a little bit of trouble on one spin, and it just kind of felt like one of those deals where I got away with it on that day.
Carmine came back with a vengeance at the Best of the West, proving that even his average is fantastic.
But I think that issue was still there, that underlying spot, and really it just, everything kept pointing towards needing to geld him. And, you know, had a meeting with Tim and Mary Beth Ruckman, and, you know, we talked about how we've exhausted every avenue as far as trying to get through this horse and have him stay a stud. But ultimately our goal is to try to win as much as we can. We'd like to win this Futurity.
With Carmine struggling in certain areas, his potential and talents may be hindered by the fact that he needs to be gelded.
And then also just looking at him long term to have a great career and make it easier on him, because it was taking a lot of work to get him where he needed to be. He kept improving all year long. That horse has improved, but it just felt like we could simplify things.
Hi, I'm Matt Mills, and I am so excited to share with you this new video series that we just finished, all on NRHA reining patterns. We start with a walkthrough. Today I'm going to walk you through pattern 6, and then we show you how to actually prepare for each pattern. Everyone's actually read the patterns in the NRHA handbook. We're actually going to show you visually where you should be going slow so you really understand what it is that the judges are looking for. And the other nice thing is, any subscribers to my training video page get a significant discount. So go to mattmillsreining.com and I'll help take you to the winner's circle.
And now, back to the road to the Futurity. Back at the ranch after the shows, Matt decides to refocus some of his energy on Bonnie.
Got Bonnie just back from California on Sunday night. She was awesome. Showed her Saturday there. Got 73, 72 and a half. The big thing was we're penalty free, which at the best of the West, she showed great there, but I had a 2-point break a gate and then had penalties on each spin, 1 point overspin one way and a half on the other, which is on me. So going to Burbank, my goal was to just have a clean run. I wasn't that concerned about how high she scored or didn't score. I just wanted to have a solid penalty-free run and then see where the chips landed. And she was great. I think she ended up being 3rd and 4th. And with that being said, this week, given how good she was, I'm just going to kind of take it easy on her. I'm just going to lunge her today, kind of get the fresh out of her, let her move around. They always kind of get a couple of little nicks on them, like she's got a couple marks on her side, just from, I got Desitin on there from the latigos on the saddle. She's got, the Palomino's got a little sensitive skin, so I'm gonna try to let that get healed up before we go to Oklahoma, and also try to get a little extra weight put on her. Go ahead, Bonnie. This time of year, it's really hard to keep significant amount of weight on these 3-year-olds because we're burning so many calories. So as good as she was, I'm gonna go ahead and take a week off from training and do some turnout. Oh, I guess you could call it like an R&R kind of week for Bonnie. Pretty athletic on a lunge line. I think what I'm probably gonna do is lunge her a little and then turn her out. Just try to get a little of that excess energy out of her because she is feeling good. Now I know this is not the most exciting place to turn a horse out in this tall round pen here, bullpen with the tall walls. But this time of year, I just think it's too risky to turn her loose in the arena, which is where I'd like to have her, where she could really get running and playing. I just don't want to risk injury. So I think this is better than nothing though. A little lunge, kind of get a little energy out, and then I'm just gonna turn her loose in here and just let her kind of roam around. After the Futurity, we'll turn her out wherever, but I've just seen too many wild things happen. And she's doing so good, we can't afford to have any setbacks. There we go, Bonnie.
The road to the Futurity is not an easy one, and part of the ride is knowing when to get off.
Well, we go turn Peaches out. She has been shut down for the rest of the year, so go turn her out in the arena. Talked about how we were having issues with Peaches being stiff and you know, always trying to look out for what's best for the horse.
So Peaches, she kind of has had kind of a rough road from the beginning. She was a little stiff. Her hair's really, really talented, ultra pretty. You know, totally pulling for her to make it because I think she would easily have been a crowd favorite, and I think the judges would have wanted to mark her. Had a vet come out and take a look at her, and you know, vet went through Peaches with a fine-tooth comb and found a bunch of little things on her.
A lot of little small things that you know, not any one of them would affect the way she was riding, and honestly, she looked pretty darn sound to me, but he kind of picked her apart, found a bunch of little things that just thought they were stress related, and given where we were at with her, really talented, but having problems, like again, with being soft and stuff like that, it just felt like the right thing to do to just give her the rest of the year off. And actually that's what the vet recommended. He said, you know, if you keep pushing, these little small things could end up being something big. If you just give her some time off, let her mature physically, let things quiet down, you know, try again next year, he thought that would be a much better plan for her. So you can see it's not like she was debilitated or anything, why we shut her down. Matter of fact, we were trying to shut things down before it ever got to that point. You know, just when you're having issues, like I said, we know how much time we put into her and what she's capable of doing. And before we started putting more pressure on her training wise, we'll always go and have the vet take a look, make sure there's not something that we're missing that is causing the horse to have the issues that they're having. And again, it was just not any one thing, but the vet just felt like it was in this mare's best interest to just back off from the training. Nothing else, she might have a future as a Liberty horse. She's so pretty.
After some time with Peaches, now Matt looks to Curry.
Got our farrier in town. He's actually from California. He started working on Curry, a couple months ago, I think it's been, maybe 6 weeks, and he got to the bottom of that quarter crack issue that Curry had and went through a whole process of opening it up and putting a patch on it to stabilize it. And we've got it now where that thing doesn't bleed anymore, and he's pretty comfortable, but the screws were starting to back out, so I'm going to take him down there and he's going to take a look at him and put that thing back together again.
Curry, we don't have as good a news on him for the Futurity for this year. At the Reining by the Bay, he popped what we thought was an abscess, turned out to be a quarter crack, had a bunch of work done on it, and ever since Reining by the Bay, it seems like we've been 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. You know, get the quarter crack under control, where it's not bleeding, not bothering him. You know, that meant time off. We start riding him, something else comes up. And took him out, kind of drew a line in the sand and said, you know what, let's take him out to the California Challenge, take him in a small class and see how he responds. And he was okay, but it just feels like we're trying to force it with him. He missed time at the end of last year. And then right now, you know, this quarter crack thing normally wouldn't be a big deal, but this time of year, it's a huge deal. And he just doesn't feel mentally to me like it would be smart to take him and try to show up, put a ton of pressure on him right there in Oklahoma City, and be able to do it 3 times and have him come out of it and be a good horse and have a nice long career.
How thick is that hoof wall, do you know? Approximately?
It should be a 1/4 inch thick.
No kidding, wow.
That one there's a little bit touchy, but I think it's mainly because I'm pushing on the crack itself.
Yeah, I think we'll back things down now.
But everything is moving. I mean, this thing has moved out of the hairline fast. In 2 shoeings, I mean, it's dropped a 1/2 inch or more. when I started when I first saw him and shot him, that horizontal line was up right by the hairline.
Yeah.
So it's done its job for the most part. I think we made the mistake of leaving that other shoe on too long.
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy how that foot's falling trying to find the ground that fast, huh?
Right here, it's still a little bit floated, but it's not more than that.
Yeah.
It's starting to look better too, though.
Feels to me like if we went there, we'd blow him up. You know, that he would, be a ton of pressure. He's not ready for it. You know, it's like taking a kid. You know you're not ready to take a test. You do it anyway. So got together with Tim and Mary Beth, and the farrier and the vet, and everybody's on the same page that Curry's going to be fine, but he just needs a little R&R. Let that quarter crack grow all the way out so it's no longer an issue. Unfortunately, Curry is not going to make the NRHA Futurity this year, but we're hoping that by doing that, he will not miss any time from here on out, and that horse will have a great career as a Derby horse going forward.
Even with only minor injuries, Matt must protect these horses' futures. And so for Curry and Peaches, their running in this competition is over.
Yeah, so, looking at the three prospects now for the Futurity, it's always very, very risky picking favorites, but, we always do. I'd say right now, I'd be looking at Carmine as, I think he's the horse that has the potential to score the highest. He scored 219 right there at Best of the West. If he gets a couple of those, that's going to be pretty close to making the finals in itself, and I felt like that was 50% of what that horse can do.
Carmine is the #1 pick right now, and after gelding him, Matt's hope is that he can reach his full potential.
Making him a gelding should be an absolute game changer. He should now, not require all the submission stuff, all the hard riding, just to get him mentally wanting to submit to pressure.
Mr. Carmine. Now look at him nickering at me now. Got a changed horse. We had some big changes with Carmine. He had the ultimate surgery, the castration done. He's almost healed up.
We shouldn't have to do that anymore. I'm not going to have to, he's not expending energy in his stall. So should be better on his legs.
Still not quite 100% there, but this one, man, I'll tell you what, it was a hard decision to make because he's so talented. But if there was ever a horse that was a poster child for needing to be a gelding, it was this one here. I mean, he is very talented, but when you guys saw, he could be tough, really difficult on the ground. And he showed good at the Best of the West. He scored a 219 there. Finished towards the top of the pack, but it just didn't feel to me like we were getting anywhere near to his full potential. And I thought the only way to get there was gelding him. And the truth of the matter is, it kind of comes down to, are you in the breeding game or are you in the winning game? Because sometimes you can't do both. And, we all looked at each other and thought, we'd rather be standing in the winner's circle than dealing with a stud that's, always giving us trouble. It's amazing. Some of these horses, like, you geld them, and it's like the next day, it's like they know, they're like, oh my gosh, you got me, low blow, literally. So with the castration, he's got that open wound up there, and so the only thing that I have to watch out for is getting dirt and sand up into that incision. Then we can deal with infection. So that really just comes with the stopping. So I've kind of got the green light to do everything else. I can see it's still pretty active in there.
I like him better.
Looks better already, huh?
Yeah.
Looks better already. I swear he's already easier. I was saying that if I had a crystal ball and knew we were going to get to cut this son of a gun, now we would have done it about 10 months ago, huh?
Then I think second is Bonnie. I think she's one that I'm not sure what she's capable of. It depends on the night, but I think that if she makes the finals back there, given it's a 4-stop pattern, she stops huge. she's a really tough one to read. I mean, I think, like, again, I don't think she'd be for everybody. She's kind of an acquired taste. I absolutely love her, but I get along with quirky horses. Shouldn't be surprised though with this mare, but Bonnie, it's been the same thing with her all year as her focus, but it's so strange. Like, she's not pulling towards the barn, she's actually pulling away from her stall towards a cactus. I'm not sure on her. I think she's definitely the wild card. Carmine's a safe pick, Bonnie's the wild card. You're gonna win the most if you bet on her, but you also could go home crying. The biggest thing right here is to stay patient. Here's a horse that I just went and showed her, mark 73, 72 and a half. But it's also the same horse that 2 days prior, for a little practice class, I tried to get her ready to show, and she was like this, and I went ahead and scratched her because I just didn't feel like it was gonna be beneficial. She is just being terrible today. There, I drove her up, and you guys saw her kick out. Just tried to drive her up there, get up in the bridle. I'm not even bumping on her, I'm just pulling soft. And she said she wanted to kick out. Well, now I'm kind of forced to keep pecking on her here with my spurs until she gives in. I can't let her win that little battle. Bonnie, you are really testing my patience. I think you're going to be worth it in the end.
Got a partner here. He's a new changed man. He recently got gelded. It's been now about 10 days that we gelded him. Right before we went to the California Challenge out in Burbank.
Partner has not been shown since the Reining by the Bay, and that's where he had some foot soreness, nothing major, but just some heel pain that I think led to him not being at his best that weekend. And since then, I've been trying to put everything together, and it always seems like we get close, but then something's not right.
His buddy Carmine got it first, and then just got to talking to the owners about long-term goals for Partner and what we thought as far as if he would be a stud prospect down the road.
Got to talking with Janice Dixon about Partner, and again, kind of similar to Carmine, I talked about what we were going through with him. Partner is not a tough stud as Carmine was, but I think that testosterone was getting in the way of his training also. He just didn't really have the focus, and then it just came down to really looking, is that a stud prospect? Does he need to be a stallion? And I don't think so. He looked to me like he had, I want to be a gelding written on him.
It actually was a pretty easy conversation. We talked about it and kind of again agreed, hey, I think it would make his life a lot simpler. He's super talented, has had a little bit of some focus issues this year, and tell you what, gelding him, I've never had one get worse.
Probably we should have done it earlier in the year. Hindsight's 2020 though, so I'm not gonna, we're not gonna look back on that.
It's gonna be a lot of fun to see the changes that Partner makes over the next few weeks. It typically takes 2 to 3 months to see the whole change, all the testosterone gets out of their system, but no doubt that first week or two, they're pretty humble because they're pretty sore, and that's what the phase I'm in right now with them. There'll be no sliding, no slide stops or anything because we don't want to get dirt up in that incision area. We actually need to exercise them, a lot of trotting, loping, trying to keep that area, that incision site, trying to keep it open, and so it drains so we get healed up real fast. So take Partner out and cruise him and see if I've got a nice sweet gelding now.
Partner and Carmine both have healing to do, and it needs to be done quickly before they can get back to their aggressive training program. With 2 down, the final 3 have pled their case for their talents. Now, it's a matter of surviving the last stretch of the road to the Futurity. On the next, the road to the Futurity.
Hopefully, in the next few weeks, but gelding will take a little more effect.
That's why I'm having a drink right now. Carmine, I can't ride.
It's down to the wire for the final 3.
Bonnie, she's been like this all year. I mean, and then the 2 times I've shown her, where I've really had to show her and I have figured it out.
But now the question is, will all 3 make it?
I think I got a lot of work to do.